You are listening to the Power and Prose podcast, a platform that serves as an active advocate for Black women to embody their authentic voice. Power and Prose is a space of healing and an invitation to profess the power you possess. Come along on the journey and let's get into the show. What's up, cool kids? You're tuned in to another episode of the Power and Prose podcast. This episode is special, and I'm going to tell you why. This very episode is my 100th episode. We have had 100 episodes in this thing. What? I'm shook. I used to be like, I'm not going to get 10 episodes. I didn't know what I was going to record, what I was going to say, who was going to listen. And so to be sitting here at 100 episodes, that is no small thing. Like, I'm shook. And I'm so thankful. I want to thank each and every one of y'all for every listen, every download, every time y'all have shared with a friend, every review, every person that has subscribed for the Prose and Praise Pages newsletter. Okay. All of it. If you've ever texted me any support that I have received for this show, I want to personally thank y'all for it. Like, the cool kids, y'all are the coolest kids in the land because we done made it, honey. And then on top of all that, this is the 100th episode. With this episode, we are going to hit 10K downloads. 10K downloads. Now, let me tell y'all something. I used to be so intimidated, right, by numbers, so intimidated about what I was going to say, if people were going to listen, would they find value in what I was saying. And then at the beginning of the show, I was just talking that first 8 episodes, so it really wasn't that deep. It doesn't seem that deep when you compare 8 to 100 episodes, right? But I used to record every other week. And so that was like 2 months of me getting in a groove of recording the show, editing, putting it out, pubbing it, telling people that I had a podcast. And so I was getting a groove of that. And in the midst of that, I wasn't talking about God at all. It was just all me, all poems, all writing tips all the time. And then it started to transition. I started to get more comfortable even preparing to release the show. I fasted and I was praying and I didn't drink. And I was like growing in my relationship with God. And so God was in it with me personally in my room, sitting up in my room. God was with me. But I wasn't outwardly expressing my faith in that way. And what happened is, I got baptized in 2019. And so getting baptized and like going through all of these things, I was changing as destiny. I'm changing as a woman, as a person. And so I felt like there was just an episode where I was talking about that journey a little bit, or God had influenced me that week. And I was like, okay, I got an episode. I'm going to talk about it, right? But then it kept happening and it kept happening. And we look up and I talk about God every week. The show has become something totally different from what I originally imagined. And I was nervous. I was terrified. I was like, now hold on. This is not what we originally were talking about. And even with that, I was like, I'm about to lose listeners. I am not equipped to even be talking about this, first of all. And I just really couldn't see where I was going to go, where the show was going to go, and who was going to be willing to go with me. And yet and still, she persisted. Yet and still, I pressed that record button. Yet and still, I am here and y'all are here. Like, if you're listening to this right now, I cannot express how thankful I am. And so to reach 10K downloads, listen, I have a goal that I'm trying to hit beyond that will help me to get sponsors for the show, sponsors to help me be able to pub and do more live events. Live events is on my heart. And to be able, we were doing writing workshops virtually on Zoom. And for those that are in the tri-state area, if you're in the New York area, I want to have events in person, right? And so, that's just something that I want to do. There's other things that I want to do to help the cool kid community in different capacities. And your girl need money to do it. And so I am on a journey to try to make sure that the show gets to a certain number that is appeasing to different advertisers and sponsors for the show. But I did not want to pass by this moment. Again, I did not see 10K downloads at all. Like, what? And here we are on the 100th episode, 10K downloads. almost 3 years of the cool kids rocking with your girl and us growing in our power together. Growing in our powers together. We were not meant to do this walk alone. We're not meant to try to stumble our way through life and figure things out. We are called with a mission, we are called with a purpose, and we are called with a plan and a path set before us. And each day that we get up and we attempt to walk that thing out is a win. Each day that we get up and we're like, okay, God, I messed up yesterday, but I'm back and better today. That is a win. Each time when you get a download from God and you're like, okay, let me just do it. Let me just try this God thing out. That is a win. That's what we're called to do. And so as I sit here today and I think back on where I was when I first launched the show in 2019, when I think about I mean, just all that I've survived, all that I've been through, the times when I was nervous and scared, the times when I've gotten feedback on the show and I didn't know what I was gonna do. You know what I mean? To be sitting here with y'all right now and not only recording the show, but got my little camera on, honey. We're recording a YouTube video, all of it. I didn't see it. I thought about it. I saw some things, but some things I just couldn't have imagined because of where I was at the time. And so think about that. If you've been listening to the show for a while, if you a cool kid OG and you have grown in some way, some capacity, I celebrate you today. And I thank you because we're doing this together. There is no blueprint to some of the things that we're doing. There is no outline to some of the pieces of you that are being awakened. Some of this is brand new. And when you're walking on new soil, sometimes we get so in our head and worried that we're going to sink that we tend to not move at all, or we move in our steps aren't in our favor. And so for each and every win that we have had in the past couple of months, in the past year, in the past 5 years, I want to celebrate that today. So if you're watching on YouTube, listen, your girl has a little bottle of rose, honey. I got me a little whispering angel. Okay. And I am going to celebrate. I'm going to celebrate right here, right now, because I'm shook. Like we didn't did it, y'all. We didn't did it. And I really just feel like there's so much more to be done. There's so many more people that I want to have as guests on this show. There's so many additional places that I want to take this platform. And I want to do it all with you guys by my side. And so today is just a little pit stop of celebration before we keep this cool kid train moving. And I want to do that with y'all. So if you're watching this and you're celebrating with me, drop a little champagne flute in the comments and let me know that you're celebrating with me. And I'm gonna take a sip. I want to do a little toast. This toast is to power. This toast is to authenticity, to transparency, and to moving forward with tenacity. Okay, there are things that come against us spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally, and it doesn't stop us. It doesn't strip us of our power. It may hide it for a second, but the light always gonna shine. And so this morning, this is to every person that has ever persevered anything, that has ever used your voice for anything, and you've seen good. That good is something that you hold on to. It is proof that there is good in you and that there is good in this world. And it only comes about through God's people. And so, this is a toast and a testament to me standing in my pros, to us standing in our pros together, and the continuation of that for days to come. So to all the cool kids, cheers! This is my favorite rose, y'all. And so, I'm really just shook, y'all. Like, for real. I remember when I was preparing for the show, I went to brunch with some friends, and while we were at brunch, one of my friends, shout out to Erica, she knew that I was preparing to do something and that I wasn't drinking. until I did it. And so that was my thing. I started not drinking during the summer. I didn't release the show until September, mind you. And so we went to brunch one day, and I was there with two friends, and they both were ordering drinks. So as they're ordering drinks, they already knew that I wasn't going to order drinks because by this point I had not been drinking for a little while. And so the waitress, she was like, anything for you? And she was directed towards me. And I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm not drinking right now. And then Erica piped in and she was like, no, she's with child. And I was like, girl, what? Like, why would you say that? But the waitress left and she's like, I mean, you're birthing something. And when she said that, it really unlocked something for me for the duration of my preparation for the show. And I truly started to look at not the isolation, I guess the solitude that I was taking as something positive, right? I started to look at it as I'm truly preparing to do something big. And maybe it's not big for the world, not just yet, but it's big for me. It is pivotal for me to begin to stand out, stand up, and stand in all the pieces of who I am, and to want to share that with people, to invite other people in that, for them to see me, for them to be able to judge me, and for me to yet and still show up as who I am. That is what this show is about. That's how it started. And that's why each and every week, I can go back to that. If I get nervous, if I get intimidated, I'm recording this right now with no notes. Please note, every episode I have some notes, whether it is 3 bullet points in my phone or I have written everything out. I am a planner. Period. And I get downloads, right? I hear things, I meditate on things, I get inspired by things. And so as I do that, I write it out, I make sure there's a flow, I understand where the plane's gonna land, and it is there in my lap every episode to guide me. And there are a few episodes where I haven't had notes, and this one is one of them. This is just truly a celebration and a reflection of where I've been. And as I think about that, I'm just like, okay, you did it. I mean, even my first reading, and I've shared this on the show a few times, but the first time that I read my poetry in front of people, and a video, I'm about to resurface that video for today because today's a celebration, y'all. That video it meant everything to me. I was like, I watched it over and over, but I always said I would never share my work. I always said I would never share a poem. And it was because I didn't know my work. So I used to have I have poetry books, right? So I remember even in middle school, I would share my notebook. And one time my notebook was with one person and then it went to another person. And it was within confidence, it was still people that I was cool with, but they were like, y'all need to read this. Like, this is good or whatever, right? And so it was going around. And so I'm getting this positive affirmation. I'm getting this feedback. And I still was like, that's great. I'm happy that y'all read it, but I hope y'all remember them poems because y'all will never see a poem again. Like, I just couldn't do it. How many open mic nights I missed at college? There was a group called Indie Poets. And I used to be hating from outside the club, wanted to get in, wanted to be a part of the group, but I refused to sign up. I wouldn't do it. And I had people, that I was cool with that were in indie poets. And they would have encouraged me. They would have held my hand while I was in the writing process. But I just couldn't do it, y'all. I could not do it. And so to get to post-college and get to New York and to write a poem that I was really proud of, a poem that really captured fear and womanism and what it means to grow up in the times that we're in, and to really capture that with such poignancy, and to feel so inspired by myself that I wanted to share with other people, to learn the poem by accident and be faced with the choice. I learned my piece, and that was always my barrier. If I didn't know it, then I wasn't going to share it. When I learned it on accident, because I kept saying it over and over, trying to finish it, learned it, I'm like, okay, you have a choice. Either you lied to yourself and you're really never going to perform no matter what you do, or you have just achieved a goal. You know a poem from top to bottom, and you can change something. You can do something different. And that's what I decided to do. I figured out, I learned the poem because I said it in the shower all the way through on a Saturday. I signed up for an open mic on a Sunday. And if you know me, I like being in my house on Sunday. I don't like going nowhere on Sundays, okay? And so to do that. And then not only sign up, but invited people to come, invited people to spend their $15 to come listen to me. And I didn't know how I was going to be. Brought my notebook, hands shaking, you know what I mean? I'm stressing about what I'm going to wear, trying to keep it simple and all of that. I do that. And I get there. 9 of my friends showed up and supported me. The crowd was there. They were in it. I messed up on a piece of the poem and I didn't even notice until I watched the video later. Like, that's how in tune I was. And it wasn't a mess up where you didn't understand, like, the point of the piece where I was. You didn't, I connotated beautifully. Like, I'm sorry, I gave it to the kids on stage. And so because of that, it really sparked everything. And I got the name Power in Prose because my prose, I felt powerful in that moment on stage. When I left the stage, people coming up to me that I didn't know, people follow me on Instagram. Like, it really just sparked this movement within me. And I was like, okay, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is what it's unlocked something for you. And this is what happens when you use your voice, when you allow yourself to step out, when you move past fear, when you move past shame, when you move past the concern of being judged by people, when you move past the concern of, are people going to get it? Sometimes we know what we're supposed to say. We know where we're supposed to say it. We get worried and choked up about people are going to understand what the heck we saying. Just put it out there. Y'all know we read the Bible and we looking at stuff every weekend. If you at church, if you're in your own personal study time, half of the stuff in the Bible we don't understand. Like, for real, real tea, it was a different time. Cultural norms were different. Words that mean one thing at that time mean a different thing now. Like, there's so much we don't understand, and yet we picking up that book. We tuning into these sermons. We listening to these worship songs. Like, that's it. You don't have to worry about people's understanding of your prose for you to share that prose, for you to embody the power that you have in that. And that is what this journey has been for me. If I explain a need that I have with friends, with family, you might not have to get it, but I get to own and present my truth. And when I do that, then you're faced with the choice on what happens with you on the back end. But on the front end, this is what I have control over. This is what I have agency and license in, right? And so, yeah, that has just really started a movement. And then eventually I released the episode. I was so nervous and intimidated and scared. I think our first episode was like 20 something minutes. I was like, you got something to say for 20 something minutes? I got my first review that first day, I think, that I released the episode. And so I was just thankful for the reviews and support then. I have just rolled on since then. And there's been breaks. There's been times when I've cried and I've been like, yo, I don't know what the heck I'm doing right now. And yet and still she persisted. And as I persist, I've been able to help you guys persist. As I persist, I've been able to see God's grace manifest in a way that's just different than he would have in any other sphere of my life. As I've persisted, I've been able to see new parts of me awaken and open. As I persist, transparency means something different to me. Tenacity is a stronger word for me. My voice has transformed, and it's because I continue to use it. I continue to build the muscle of saying what's on my heart, of caring about what I say because I know it impacts people, of wanting to grow, of learning new words, of pushing the bounds of my pen, of wanting to invite other people into the practice of writing as a form of healing via creative expression. There are just different things that I've been able to do. And y'all can do that too. Whatever space that you're in, I'm telling y'all, Power and Prose, yeah, it's cute. I love an alliteration, okay? I love the PP, like, I love it. But it truly is a movement. It truly is a mark of faith. If you're saying that there's power in your prose, you know how many people exist in the world who think that what they say doesn't matter? Do you know how many people exist in the world and they're just talking out the side of their neck, saying anything to anybody at any time, ain't putting no thought, no care, no intention behind what they're saying? And so because of that, they can't bring forth things because of their words, because they don't think that their words have power. Do you know how many people are walking around and they said something because they didn't believe that their words held power, that they didn't see power in their lives? How many words have been spoken to people by people that have power, but because they don't believe that words have power by anybody, not even just them, but any words have power, that they don't receive the blessings that could come to them. Do you not, y'all know how abnormal this is? Like the movement of understanding, believing, and walking in power and prose is no small thing. And that's what I'm saying. This 100th episode, this 10K downloads, this is something that we all are sharing together. If y'all are tuned in, if you slightly believe that words hold power, if you slightly believe that if you say something, it'll come to pass, you're walking in the will of God. You're in line with what the word says. And the word is how things are spoken. God spoke a word and then it was. That's it. He spoke it and it was. And we have that same power. I said I was going to have a podcast and then I had a podcast. I started to say, oh, I'm going to reach 10K downloads soon. And then boom, we're here. Like, there are plenty of podcasters who have started a show and they haven't made it to 100 downloads. They've stopped recording since then. They haven't made it to 10K downloads. There are people that have done it quicker than me, for sure. I'm in my second year, going on third year of recording this show, of plugging up this mic, honey. But I started off on my phone and some headphones, making sure I turned off my AC so y'all don't hear it in the background. Like, that's how I started. I started being so shaky before every episode, almost having an anxiety attack because I was worried about the outcome. Where now I'm over here pouring up drinks with y'all on the show. Like, let's get real. There's so much growth that has happened, and it's continuously saying my words have power. My presence is a present. I am here on purpose for a purpose. Like, I'm on mission for the mission. You know what I mean? And so because of that, I've been able to see things. I've written a devotional. We do devotionals together as a group. I've launched a website. The Instagram page has grown significantly. I'm listened to in countries that I've never visited. Some I can't pronounce, to be real with y'all. And I've been able to impact my direct community, like people I actually kick it with, text it with, all of that, to people that I don't know. And that is a testament to God. Like, real tea, no fooling, no shadows. Like, that's really what's happening. This is a movement and we are all a part of that. It's a celebration. It's a celebration. It's a celebration. And so I just really I thank God for allowing me to use my voice in such a way to push past negativity, to push past the negative things that I tell myself, the ways that I strip myself of my power and my prose, things that could have stepped into my heart and planted roots that did it. I thank him for that, because there are people that lose the battle to their mind and their words every day, every single day. And so for me to still be here, for me to pluck up this mic today, for me to have my little rose in hand, honey, it is a testament to God seeing something with this platform. If you're listening, it's because he sees something in you, and there's a channel and a wave that is being transferred in via this show, and you're at the right place at the right time on the right episode. And so I thank all of you for being a part of it. Y'all are the cool kids for a reason, because y'all the coolest in the land, point blank, period. And so as we toast together, I want to invite you to continue on this journey with me. Power Prose ain't over by a long shot, honey. This first 10K is the first 10K. This 100th episode is the 100th episode. That's going to be one-on-one next week. We are in this together, and we're going to do it as long as God sees fit, and there's more to come. So be sure that you are plugged in all the ways that you can be plugged in. If you haven't tuned into the YouTube and you want to see my facial expressions, be sure that you do that. It is Power and Prose on YouTube, and I'll be uploading the visual episodes along with the audio each and every week. You can also plug in to the weekly Prose and Praise Pages newsletter. The newsletter is where I share different pieces of inspiration that I'm getting, whether it's books that I'm reading, devotionals that I've completed, or sermons that I've watched. You can plug in there. Whenever I have guests on the show, we have a little blurbs about them and we kind of go more in depth in their story via the newsletter. And then you also just get a little bit of encouragement from me each and every week. I feel like there's something powerful and unique about that little boost. I think Wednesdays are really where I get my energy, and it's just that little hump to get you through the week. And sometimes you need a little extra push to get you there, which is why I release episodes on Wednesday. It's fueling for me, and I believe it can be fueling for the community. And so the Prose and Praise Pages is just an extra little power boost to get you through the week. So if you're not tuned in and plugged into that, be sure that you hit the link in the show notes to get subscribed. You can also follow your girl on TikTok or on Instagram at Power and Prose Podcast to be plugged into all the tings and the things, and to just kick it with me. What has most impacted you as we have reached this milestone? Let your girl know. What would you like to see as I continue to innovate and motivate with this platform? Let me know. DM me, leave comments, honey, all the things. And lastly, to help me celebrate this day, if you have yet to leave a review or a rating on Apple Podcasts, and that is where you tune into the show, be sure that you do that today. Let me know what you appreciate about the show, what you love. How has it most impacted you? How has it changed some things within you? What do you find most powerful about your voice since you've been tuning into the show? Whatever touches your heart, put it there. It of course, helps the show reach the next 10K downloads that we're going to get. But it just lets me know what you guys like. I want to be sure that I'm continuing to help us grow for sure. But I want to bring those elements to the forefront that can inspire us to continue to be a cool kid family together. And so, listen, I'm about to go finish this rosé, honey. I love you guys. I thank you so much for being on this journey with me. I'm on a journey with you guys. Email your girl at powerandprose@gmail.com. Yeah, I'm excited if y'all can't tell. And I'm just very, very, very just thankful. Like, God didn't really did it this time, like for real. So I thank you guys. I love y'all. And we hit 10K, baby, period.